Hello everybody and welcome back to Across the Pond. This is a podcast where QJ and myself talk about things.
Yes, we do.
We decided to go back to, for anyone who's been listening for a while, which is probably no one because we don't actually have any listeners, we used to do this as like a once a month thing where we both talk about what we've done in the month. And then we split it down into having an episode each, and QJ never did hers because she's lazy.
That's
and
right.
I had to edit both of them, and it was just more work. So we've gone back to doing one a month, where we both just chat about things we've done in the month.
It's January, it's the new year. We're going back to the old ways, because why should anyone ever change?
Yeah, why should anyone ever change or like get a better microphone or anything like that? Because that would just be silly, wouldn't it?
It would be silly. It'd be ridiculous.
I don't know how it's going to sound on the recording, but my god, your audio quality is terrible right now.
Is it really?
It might be Discord though. It might be a transmission.
Maybe
problem,
every
so
time I
don't
listened
worry
back
about
to the
it's
playback,
fine.
it was fine.
So yeah, we've put the structure back as well. Like I've previously just gone through every single movie I've watched and done that way. Now it's gonna be more chill. We're gonna just chat some nonsense.
Two friends talking about how our month is
Hell
going.
yeah.
And
Two friends having a chat. I think the place that I kind of want to start in this episode, start of the year, set up the most important thing of the year, which is our competition. QJ and I, for anyone who listened last year, will know that QJ made me a bingo chart last year of prompts for movies that I need to watch. And I did it. I did all 25 in the year. It was great. I also did QJ. I gave you a bingo chart for video games. How many of those did you...
0!
Did you play?
I think.
Literally 0. This year, on the other hand, we both made a bingo chart for each other where it's just
movies.
Prompts for movies. We are competing to see who can watch all 25 movies first. I'm currently in the lead. QJ's a loser.
I am trash. I don't follow any prompts. I have no motivation in life. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Why is life?
But yeah, so I'll throw mine up on screen right now, and then I'll throw like QJ's up in a minute, so everyone can have a look. If you want to play along, choose one of our bingo charts. See if you can do a 25 movie bingo chart in the same time we do.
Yeah, or give suggestions for what could go in those squares. See if Kat can finally figure out what her middle square is.
One of the stipulations I have, because last year I used to I kept just accidentally filling in squares by just movies that I was going to go and see in the cinema anyway. So we've put the rule in that I'm not allowed to use movies that I see in the cinema for this, because otherwise it'd be so unfair. Yeah.
Oh, so like, is that what we decided? Like no cinema movies for the bingo chart?
Yeah, no cinema movies for my bingo chart. Okay. You can do that, because you don't go as much as I do.
True. Yes, you have a bingo.
I've gone to the
cinema membership.
I've gone to the cinema 5 times this month so far. So yeah, I think if I was going by cinema, I would have non-romantic female lead. I would have had movie with any part of your name in the title or main set of characters. I did get that one separately, but I would have had that just by going to the movies. So yeah, I've got to not do that. But yeah, that's our little competition. Stay tuned to see who wins. Probably me, because I'm a winner. Currently in movie news, though, it's Oscar season.
It is. I'm going to be binging all the Oscar bait movies the next month.
Oh, hell yeah. Like, they're coming out, like, some of them, like The Shape of Water, for example, which has, like, the most nominations this year, is coming out here, like, on the 23rd of February or something, and I'm like, that's so close to I'm going to have to, like, immediately watch that before the Oscars happen. Because
The Shape of Water.
Oh, no, wait, it's February 14th, I think. It's coming out on Valentine's Day, I think.
Oh, wonderful.
There's another one. I think I, Tonya's not out until the 24th or something here, which sucks and is annoying.
I must just not watch enough things on YouTube that have trailers on them, because I like never know what movies are coming out.
Like, I follow loads of like movie news feeds and stuff like that. Also, there's a site that I have got really obsessed with recently. QJ, you know what it is. It's Letterboxd. There'll be a link to my account in the description if you want to follow me on Letterboxd. I post basically every movie I see, I log it, and I write like a snappy, witty review for it. Some of them are really sarcastic, some of them are horrible.
I like writing snappy, witty reviews for things I see, so maybe I should do a Letterboxd. I thought about putting them on Tumblr, but I like really don't even know how to use Tumblr.
I think doing it on Tumblr also it's not that good because Tumblr's more based around image posts and like GIFs and stuff than text posts. So text posts kind of get like buried in Tumblr, whereas Letterboxd is specifically designed for like movie review stuff, and it works really well. I love it. So if you want to keep up with everything I watch and see sarcastic reviews for them, let me know on Letterboxd. Just follow me. I might follow you back. Who knows? Also, suggest films in the comments if you want to. Like,
yeah.
No one's done it in ages. Like, we used to have so many. I used to get loads of suggestions, and now I don't.
No one followed us
really
over
sad.
from ZBN.
Yeah. Although actually, Josh told me I should watch all of the Indiana Jones movies, so I feel like I should do that soon because I haven't done it yet. But I'll get on that at some point.
Yep.
So don't worry, Josh. I've got you back. Is there anything you've done this month? Because I'm gonna get back to movies later. I've watched some of the Oscar movies. Is there any that
you didn't even mention which Oscar movies you'd watched?
I know, I haven't. I'm gonna get to it later. I figured like I've been talking a lot, so I'm gonna pass it over to you.
Okay, I watched 2 movies.
Yes.
And they were like actually quite related to each other. The Darkest Hour and Dunkirk.
Oh. Okay, don't bother with Dunkirk. I hate Dunkirk, but The Darkest Hour is great.
Darkest Hour was.
What did you think?
It was like so. Both of these movies actually were kind of difficult for me to follow. I kind of wish I could have had Wikipedia open during The Darkest Hour because the whole time I'm just like, this is like really well done and really well structured, but like, who is the King of England during this time? I don't know anything about. England's. Like,
that's actually really interesting because over here me and Georgia were talking about this the other day. We have problems with American movies where sometimes they'll just assume that you know American history. It's recently Spielberg put out The Post, which is about the Washington Post releasing documents about the Vietnam War. It's a really good movie, but I had no idea what was happening half the time because I'm sitting there like, I don't know American history. Am I stupid?
Did you
am I stupid?
Have trouble with like the Vietnam War when you watched Forrest Gump?
I mean, I know what the Vietnam War is, but I don't know it in enough detail, and I don't know enough about U.S. politics and who came in what order and who was president at what time, and
I mean, me neither.
All of the detailed stuff.
And like, I'm already so not in tune or caught up with current American politics.
Yeah.
Like, if a war has happened in the past 15 years, I don't know why. And I probably won't for another 30 years because I
just assume oil.
Maybe I barely understand why certain things happened when they did in World War II, and I get World War II and World War I mixed up. And I'm gonna be completely honest, I had absolutely no idea who Winston Churchill was before.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, see, I think
he had a name.
That's good.
I thought maybe he was. I don't know. He was a guy.
That's actually really it's reaffirming to me because I always feel really stupid when I don't get American history, and then I'm sitting there like, why would I know American history? I'm not from America. We don't get taught this stuff, but I feel like an idiot just because like I feel like I'm supposed to because American culture is so dominant over ours. Mm-hmm. It's nice to see you having the reverse effect, and so it makes me feel like, oh, that is normal. And like, you know, it's normal not to just know.
Maybe I should know about like England's involvement in a war that like America was in, but even World War II, I think we were only in there for like 1 year because it seems like we were neutral for the most part until I think we got one of our ships bombed, and then we went there.
Pearl Harbor? Something about Pearl Harbor? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was I think that was the beginning of World War I or something. I don't know.
Was it? Because wasn't Pearl Harbor what triggered the US-Japan showdown? You know, that whole thing.
Yes.
I honestly don't remember.
And is that
the point?
Is that why we got involved in World War II instead of the Nazis?
I think so.
Because were the Nazis friends with the Japanese?
I think so. See, I have no idea. Maybe. I want to say they were, but I know they were definitely involved with Italy. But
Hacksaw Ridge, was that World War II? Yes. Yeah, because his dad was in World War I.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so yeah.
You have to map out world history with all the good historical films.
Yes. But yeah, like, I think it's nice to see, because I got a lot of stuff with Darkest Hour. I just understood it, but I feel like for you, a lot of things like the structure of the government and like all of the dudes yelling at each other in that room, like you'd be like, what is this though?
And...
Or like, who is Neville Chamberlain? I know that. Do you? No, probably
no.
not. And that's totally fine because like it's a culture thing. Like if they made a movie about the French involvement in World War II, I'd be like, I don't know who these people are. I don't know how French government is structured. I don't know anything about this. Yeah. But the French, they'd know.
Yeah, I suppose they would.
It's like,
and yeah, even watching these movies, I was like, wait a minute, Italy. Like, wait, do they have a king? What is their government?
I think they have prime ministers.
I don't know. They had Mussolini for a short period.
Yep.
And
yeah, it's a nice.
Does France still have a monarchy? Is there a king or queen of France right now?
Didn't they get overthrown in the French Revolution? The let them eat cake thing. They were monarchs, but then they got beheaded, and then French monarchy stopped being.
Yeah, there was.
I have no idea.
Yeah, because France followed America in the Revolution in 1789. And I know that because of Hamilton.
Yeah.
What? And I don't know if see, they overthrew a king and then they got another king. But then I think they had the Revolution and they brought back Republic, which I know from Les Mis.
Yeah.
What? And then I don't know.
It's all movies, isn't it?
All the musicals.
I think.
See, if they just made musicals and hip hop stage plays out of everything that happened in history, I could be a world history teacher tomorrow. No, oh no, everything.
If they just made Forrest Gump level quality movies about history, I'll be honest with you, a lot of my knowledge of like American, like big American events and what order they happen in comes from Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, wait, when did that happen? And I'm like, okay, that scene took place after that scene, so that must have taken place later in time. They should show more movies in
high school history classes, and we.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we should stop talking about history because it's kind of making it apparent that we don't know anything about history, and I feel a bit stupid.
That is correct. We're stupid.
But
anyway,
yeah, Darkest Hour is a really good film. I think Gary Oldman's performance is phenomenal in that movie. The makeup.
Holy crap.
I would say they 100% deserve to win hair and makeup, but they're going up against Wonder, and Wonder had some like fantastic hair and makeup. Sure. So it's kind of like, I think they'll win it just because Wonder's a bit lower profile. And Darkest Hour is like it's an Oscar bait movie. I can't believe
basically. They did so good at making him look so old. It made me wonder why they picked someone so young to play it in the first place. But Gary Oldman, he disappeared into his role.
It seems like Gary played an old man.
Anyway,
I stole that joke from Georgia.
Oh really? Was it such a complicated joke to make up yourself?
No, I'm just not stupid enough to come up with such a bad joke.
Yes, you are. I've seen you.
I'm blatantly not. I'm highly intelligent. I know things about
I've seen you rip out the worst puns. It's ridiculous.
Classic. Yeah, I really like Darkest Hour. What did you think of Dunkirk? Because I didn't like it. I thought it was a big pile of garbage, but loads of people do.
I appreciated how it was trying to be different from most movies, like the way it was trying to tell stories from like it wasn't really it's really hard to describe. It wasn't really like one full story with, following characters through like their personal journey. It was kind of just like a camera was following a few people around for their perspective of that part of the war. And you kind of got to feel like what would have happened if you were that person like drowning in the oil, or the citizens that had to go rescue people from across the channel. And there was like, I thought it was interesting how very little dialogue there was, but it was really hard to follow these characters around because I didn't know their names, and they all looked like each other.
Yep.
And I don't know.
I didn't care.
I was kind of bored, but it also had that issue where I was like, shoot, where is Dunkirk? And like what was happening, and who are these people, and like what is the mole? What does that mean? And the planes were flying around, and I'm like, why are there only 2 planes in the sky? And like which one is German and which one is English? And they were all like, oh, boats are sinking, and I'm like, is that a German boat or an English boat or what? I don't know what's happening. No one's telling me anything. And it's very confusing.
And they're not characters either. Like Tom Hardy's character is just a guy who flies around in a plane and says like 2 lines of dialogue for the entire film, and it's like I really don't care about this person at all. There's no depth to any of them as people. It's just like
Yeah, and I understood
like
why they were
obviously
trying to do that. They were telling a story with a different manner, in a different way, and I appreciated the attempt, and I thought it was cool movie making, but it didn't like super capture my attention. I did tear up quite a bit at the end when they were all going home, and the English guys were like, "Oh, everyone's gonna hate us," but instead they were like tapping on the windows and giving them beers, and they're like, "Yay, you're back! We're gonna keep fighting." And like, the soldier who like accidentally like knocked over the kid Georgie, like was able to put his picture in the paper and be like, "Oh, he was a hero at Dunkirk," and I teared up a little bit at that. And
I think in the end was probably the best part for me because it was. And
I kind of understood. I
often say this in a because then it's over sense, but
you're relieved.
I think it's because it did a very good job of making a lot of relief to like everything paid off emotionally in the end, but it's just I hated it because of just the so long of not caring about any of these people. They get on a boat, the boat crashes, they're back on the beach, oh no, and then they get on another boat, and then oh no, that boat crashes as well, and they're back on the beach. I was just like sick of it after like about half an hour. I was just like, can you give me some characters and depth, please?
I didn't mind the way they were telling the story, but I felt like they could have told it in the same type of way, but a few things probably could have been added to make it more interesting. And I'm not sure how to pinpoint that. It was just kind of one of those things where you kind of know. But it was different, and I liked the way that it was different. And the music was beautiful. I thought it was really cool to look at. Like, it was.
Oh yeah, visually, it's got great cinematography.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I'll give it that.
I mean, the only visual problem with it was a similar visual problem with Darkest Hour, in that I couldn't tell one person from another when I was like, is that guy the enemy, or is he a friend of Churchill's, or is he someone that he's just currently getting mad at, or was that the French guy or the English guy?
Churchill was just getting mad at everyone constantly though. Classic Churchill. I didn't like Dunkirk. I wish I did, but
that's how I feel too. I wish I liked it more than I did. And like, I wish I could read more about the Battle of Dunkirk and then watch it again. But I just don't really want to watch it again.
No,
I would totally watch Darkest Hour again.
Yeah. But that's cool. I'm glad you saw Darkest Hour. I was wondering if you would, because it's very British and it's very
they did a good job of balancing his political career with his personal life.
Yeah.
And
I think they did a really good job of humanizing him. There's a scene, and I don't want to spoil it because it's such a powerful scene if you don't see it coming, and it's a scene that's incredibly well set up that just humanizes him, and it makes him feel like a real person, and it's brilliant. It comes near in like the final act. You should know what scene I'm talking about. Like, that scene alone just like bumped my opinion of this movie.
Spoiler alert.
Like, hardcore.
Skip ahead a minute if you don't want to be spoiled.
Yeah, skip ahead like a minute. I'm just gonna quickly say what scene it is, and then you'll know. It's one in the tube. The scene in the tube where he just talks to people.
That was beautiful.
That scene is phenomenal.
I hope that happened in real life, because that was brilliant.
Yeah. I have no idea if it happened in real life. I haven't Googled it. I don't want to know, because if it didn't happen in real life, I'm gonna be really disappointed, because that scene was amazing.
Yeah.
But like, that scene just like my Letterboxd for review, I think, basically says like I was gonna give this a 3.5, but that scene alone boosted it up to like a 4.5 or something like that, because that scene is amazing. That scene just nails everything. That it's such a
backed it
satisfying.
Up really well by in the beginning of the movie, he's like, I've never ridden a bus or in the tube, and they're just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, and it feels like just like unnecessary kind of conversational filler, but then it's meaningful. It's great.
Because he thinks everyone is against him, and then he talks to real people, and he's like, oh, I should stick to my guns.
Yeah. It's fantastic. It's that scene alone is amazing. I have watched a few other Oscar bait movies. If you want me to tell you, I won't spoil any of them, but I'm just gonna run through. I'm gonna run through every movie I've seen in order. Some of them I won't say anything about because I don't really care enough. I watched Molly's Game, which is a movie about poker, which actually did a really good job of establishing poker things, but in a way where like you don't need to understand what the hell's happening, but you enjoy it anyway, and it was really good, and it has amazing dialogue. Like that movie it's dialogue non-stop.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Constantly. And it just flows so perfectly. Like it's so well written.
I love full dialogue because I feel like I'm watching a book.
Yeah, it's great. Then I watched All the Money in the World, which was just the most dull, boring. I think they were trying to go for Oscars, but
are you only talking about Oscar movies right now?
No, I'm just talking about every movie I've seen this month. Okay. I'll just run through them in order, but quicker than I normally do. Because
some of these I haven't heard of. I think I've seen them on the cinema list.
No. Then the film that I am currently rooting for. Now, get that I haven't seen like I've only seen like 3 of the Oscar Best Picture nominees so far. This is the one that I'm 100% backing. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri is.
Yeah, that must not be out here yet.
It's amazing.
You said it's up for Oscars, fantastic.
Though? It's definitely. Yeah, it's Best Picture nominated. It's got so many nominations. It
must have been fantastic. In and out of the theater before I ever noticed it. I didn't see it in
it's brilliant.
Why?
It's basically, I don't want to spoil it because you should watch it for yourselves. It's amazing. Just everything it's about, the dialogue, the natural. It's raw. It's natural. It's like Manchester by the Sea, but if Manchester by the Sea was a black comedy, and had more laughs alongside it, and was a bit more politically oriented, but like current political statements. I don't really want to say anything more than that. It's a great movie with just natural, organic, raw dialogue and characters that all feel. It feels like it could happen, and it's great. I love it. When you've seen it, which you will have to because it's great.
Yay!
We will talk about it maybe next month because I don't know. I think it's out in America. It should be, but who knows? Maybe you missed it. That'd be a shame.
I'll find it somewhere.
The next movie I watched was for my bingo chart.
All right.
This could have fit 2 of my squares actually. It could have fit non-romantic female lead, and it also could have fit 1 7+ Oscars. I've put it in 1 7+ Oscars because I feel like there's another movie I want to watch for non-romantic female lead. Or there isn't, I don't know. But the movie is Gravity, which you complained about when I told you I'd seen it. I think it's really good. I'm going to tell you why I think it's really good.
Okay.
I think Gravity is a really good film because it's not about being lost in space. It's not about spoilers for Gravity if you haven't seen it. I'll put like a little caption up, whatever. Yeah, it's not about being lost in space. It's not about that. That's not the point of the film. The entire thing, to me, the way I interpreted it, is it's an allegory for being on the brink of suicide. The entire thing is about being in that mindset where you're so far from the real world, you're so alone, and you're isolated in your own thoughts, and you just want to let go. You just want to let go and leave. And there's so much like visual imagery and emotional connection that links it to that for me. And to me, it was super relatable. They took an abstract concept of being kind of lost in space and having to kind of pull your way back to Earth, and made it, to me, like, I interpreted the whole thing as like being lost in your own mind and being stuck outside of everything else and feeling like you've lost everything. And the whole tagline of the film is like, never let go and don't let go and don't let yourself drift away. And there's a scene like later on where she basically is about to commit suicide. Like, she turns off the life support in the shuttle and she almost lets herself slip, and then she pulls herself back, and it's this triumphant moment.
Is that where she figures out what was it that she was finally able to propel herself? It was like the brakes or something.
Something like that, yeah.
And she finally
but like the minutiae,
that.
yeah, the technical minutiae and all of that stuff that's in there, the jargon and the space travel stuff, I think it's just additional, like, it's just fluff. It's unnecessary, but it's there to sell the story of, because it's very, in a literal sense, yeah, it's about a woman who gets lost in space and has to make her way back. But I thought there was so much like subtext and like figurative like connection to
I never
really real
ever
emotional
would have thought about it that way. That's actually
I think
incredibly interesting. And right before you started talking, I was like, your review about Gravity is going to be a million times more interesting than the movie was. And I was kind of right. But
Yep.
right now I feel like how I feel when I read a classic novel or play, and I'm like, why is this a classic? This is boring and stupid. And then I have an intelligent conversation with someone in like a class, or like another friend who read it. And they're like, oh no, this is what it means, and this is what it was written for.
Yeah.
And I'm like, actually, now my mind is turned around and I can see why. Because I never would have thought about that allegory, because the way the movie was sold to people to go see it, they were like, you know, doesn't being lost in space make you feel super uncomfortable and agoraphobic and creeped out? Like, go see it for the thrill. And like, so that's all that was in my head when I went to see it. I was like, well, and I'm not scared by this. And I think Sandra Bullock's character is kind of really boring. And that's like, I don't know. I was just waiting for it to end. I was really, really bored. I mean, it was beautiful to look at, which is ironic because
movie.
Space has nothing.
Yeah.
And space also has no sound, and yet Gravity had amazing sound editing. So
fantastic sound editing.
Yeah, hearing your take on that is quite fascinating, actually.
The point of her being a boring character, I think it sells the point even more, because she feels very empty. She feels like she has nothing left to live for, and that she is dead inside, and she does want to just let go because she's lost everything she had. You know, her kid died. She's now just out there, and she's gone. Mm-hmm. I think maybe, and I haven't looked into it, so I haven't actually looked into other people's interpretations of it. I don't know if this is what they were going for.
I was wondering if you kind of
misinterpreted
looked
everything
that up from like someone else's review. But
no, that's just how I connected with it. I felt like, you know how when I spoke about 2001: A Space Odyssey or Mother, I was like, I hated this while I was watching it, and then afterwards I got it.
Yes.
And it all made sense, and it was like, oh wait, this and this and this and this connects. It was like that, but while watching it.
Yeah, and when you catch those things while you're watching something, it's so much more of a good experience.
Yeah.
And I think,
like,
given what you've said now, I think if Gravity was like a short story, I would have like eaten that up if I had thought about the whole allegory while reading it. Because there's still something about the way the movie was presented that wasn't very entertaining to me. Like, even if I had gotten that allegory, I would have been like, oh, that's cool, but now let's get to the next scene because I get it. So, okay. That makes me appreciate it more, but also, like, if that's not what they were going for, it doesn't make it feel as creative, if you know what I mean. Like, if
I think it might have been, though, because like the tagline,
they shouldn't get the credit for it.
Yeah. But like the tagline on the poster is like "never let go" or something, or "don't let go," and I think it's very evocative of that kind of feeling.
That being said, if that is what they were going for, then bad
Genius.
job on the marketing team. Like, why?
Oh yeah, totally.
Why did they? It's like having an amazing story in like in a romance, but like only advertising the sex, and like not the depth.
Oh, like in 50 Shades of Grey, yeah. That was a joke, obviously. That film does not have good. But yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I think it worked as a feature because it does feel like a drag, and that's, I think, kind of the point, and that makes it more powerful to me. Is like when you are in that state, when you are in that kind of state of like
your life
wanting
is just dragging,
and
like there's
you
no
feel
point
like
in anything.
you're there forever. You feel like it never ends, and then when you finally pull yourself back into the real world and you pull yourself out of that mindset, it's the relief that like the fact that movie just suddenly ends. She lands on Earth, she gets on the beach, ends. That's what it's like. It's like you've gone through this long grueling thing and you're just back, and it's just the world is just normal.
See, if that had been like a little more clear. And yet, you know, I've read so many classics where people didn't appreciate them in their time because the author didn't want to be like, this was the point. They just wanted to write what they wrote and see if people got it. And a lot of times people didn't. And they were just like, all right, well, you're lost.
I think, I'm not going to like pry personally, but like, and ask, but I have been in that place, right?
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's because I've been there. I've been on in that kind
and
of
I think
headspace
that might
where
be why
like
you made the connection so easily.
yeah, I think that's why I got it. You know, it leapt into my mind. And I think if someone hasn't been there and hasn't had that kind of experience, they it's hard to just leap to that conclusion because you don't know the feeling. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it harder. Like it because it to me it was incredibly relatable because it's like I know how this like the emotions that she's going through. I know how they feel from my perspective of being
Totally
there, being like on like I just want to end it. I want to give up. And yeah, I think that's why it kind of leapt to me and connected to me. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that was in no way the intention, and I just like completely taken my own interpretation of it, which I think is quite cool.
I do too.
No, I think that's.
And now that I know why you liked it, I think that's awesome.
Yep. Yep. So, shut up. Because we had a massive argument on Discord when I said that I'd watch Gravity. I was like, "Oh, I just watched Gravity," and you were like, "Why would you watch that? There's millions of other movies that got 7 Oscars. Why would you choose
well,
that
there
one?"
were.
And I'm like,
I mean, come on! You never watch the classics. You say you need to watch more classics because you're a film major or something, and then you're like, I'm gonna watch a movie that came out tomorrow because it's new and blah, 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 and not anything that was important in film history. Blah, blah, blah. But whatever.
Well,
I was surprised that Gravity won. Wait, was The Square won the Oscars or nominated? It was won, right?
Won 7+ Oscars.
I didn't know that it won as many Oscars as it did. I don't think I bothered looking up whether or not it was critically acclaimed because I walked out of that theater being like, that was boring as crap. So everyone else must feel the same.
Okay. Gravity won. Best visual effects. 100% okay with that. Best sound editing. Yeah. Best sound mixing. Duh.
Wait, best sound editing and best what?
And best sound mixing. They're different, but I, off the top of my head, cannot exactly.
I think we've had this conversation
why.
with Hacksaw Ridge. Like, I don't understand the difference, but there is.
I think mixing, I think, is the live recording of it, and then editing is the post-production element. I think is the way around that goes, but I could be wrong. It won best cinematography, it won best editing, it won best original score, and it won best director. I think it deserves all of those.
Best score, huh?
And it was nominated.
Listen to that. It
was nominated for best picture, nominated for best actress, which I think Sandra Bullock did a really good job of that. And then best production design, it was nominated for too. So I think that's fine.
Yeah, I'll have to listen to the score again. It makes me wonder, like the sound editing and mixing thing. I wonder if when the Oscars were first a thing, like the first couple years of it, if they had fewer
they would not have had that
categories, and if some people were just like, "Hey, my department never gets any attention. I should have an award for the mixing, not just the editing." And if they like,
I feel like they definitely wouldn't have had like best animated picture back then, like when they started it, and I don't think they would have had best visual effects because.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they did because of practical effects.
People must rally for their categories because there's like best short foreign film or some weird stuff like that. Like things where there are only like 3 of them a year, and so they're all nominated.
Yeah. Oh man, screw short films. I refuse. What's the point?
We should.
I know that some of them might be amazing.
For the episode when we do that.
Where do you even watch short films? Do you have to find them online?
Well,
How
are
do you
they
know
like the short films that are before cartoons? Like the Pixar films?
I have no idea, maybe. I mean, presumably the animated nominations are, but like the live action short films.
But I don't know where they show them.
You see those.
Yeah, no. Sometimes people are like, oh, this animated short was so good, it should win. And I'm like, where do they even release that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't. Who knows? Moving swiftly on, I got the next bingo chart square. I got Wes Anderson live action.
Yay!
Moonrise Kingdom.
Yay, my favorite!
I really like this movie. I think it's good. It's not quite as good as Grand Budapest Hotel, but I feel like
I understand why.
Like,
Grand Budapest has like a
Wes
lot
Anderson films
going for it, but Moonrise Kingdom just like takes my heart and like puts it in
it's sweet.
One of those like clampy things with teeth on it and just like shakes it.
Yeah. It's a very, very good film. Like it had a lot of really good feelings, it had a lot of just visually was fantastic. I love how pastel and everything looks like a little friggin' doll's house.
Whoa!
It's just so good. The production design is so good. It's like
it's beautiful. Like
it
looks like he like like filmed it in black and white and then took like a pastel like paintbrush and just like put all his like Easter colors in everywhere.
True. Yeah, it's a brilliant film. I had a lot of fun with it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I liked I can't. It's one of those movies where I really enjoyed it, but
There's
I
so
can't
much about it.
really
like,
verbalize
a lot of
what I
amazing
liked about it.
little touches. Like
Yeah.
I loved when they were passing notes back to each other, not passing notes, but mailing, and you could hear the
Yeah.
scribbles of their handwriting across the paper. And when she
Yeah.
was reading passages of the books to Sam and the rest of the crew, those were passages that Wes Anderson wrote for those
Oh,
fake
yeah.
books, and which disappointed me because I was like, those sounded so good. I want to read those books, but they're not real.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was
Mhm.
great.
Yeah,
I had a good
it
time.
really made me think of
Very good cast.
like I mean, I felt a lot like Susie when I was a kid. And I liked how in
Hmm.
so many moments she just told people off.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's like when her mom was like giving her a bath and she's like, I hate you. And she's like, oh, you don't mean that. And she's like, I'm like, why would you just
Yeah.
like completely trivialize something that like a person is trying to express just because
Yeah.
they're a kid? You think that they don't mean what they say or that they can't really love someone else. And they're
Yeah.
just like, oh, woe is me. Oh, poor Susie. Everything's so hard for you. It's like, you're not listening to her. You're not treating her like a person.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
Casting coincidence though. Her mother in Moonrise Kingdom is the same woman who stars in Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Oh,
which is the
nice.
film that I mentioned earlier. Also, Lucas Hedges, who plays the kid who gets stabbed with lefty scissors, is the son in Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. So I'd just seen those
And the
two
kid in
in
Manchester
like
in the Sea, you mentioned?
yes, yeah,
Yeah, because
and that kid,
Susie was in
oh, he's
Manchester
got-
in the Sea, too.
yeah,
Which,
yeah.
it made me laugh. This is kind of a, like, stupid joke. But, the scene where Susie and Sam were dancing on the beach, and they were kind of trying to justify themselves as going off on their own by, like, being more adults. So they were like, oh, let's
Yeah.
kiss with our tongues, and let's you know, touch each other like adults do.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, like, my chest, I think it's going to grow more, which was awkward.
Yeah.
And then in
it's very
Manchester in the
awkward.
Sea, she's a teenager, and she's got huge boobs. And I'm like, well, she was right. That happened.
Yeah, I think there's another point to be made about in Moonrise Kingdom about how it is very awkward at times. Like it's very awkward and kind of uncomfortable
Mhm.
because they are so young and they're acting so old, and it's like slightly awkward, but in a way that really works as a film, like as a script. It really connects and it's really solid.
Yeah.
But in this kind of like uncomfortable, slightly kind of way,
'Cause, like,
where you're like,
in a way, Susie was kind of rebelling against her parents, but that wasn't the only reason they wanted to be together. Like she
Yeah.
said, like they loved each other in their own, you know, as much as a child can love another child.
yeah,
And I felt like the trust and comfort they had for each other really came across well. So when they were like
Yeah.
sleeping next to each other and cuddling in their underwear, like I wasn't like too uncomfortable with it because it had its own innocence, even though they were
Yeah.
trying to be like, oh, we're grown ups and we're in love and we're about to pretend to get married.
Yeah.
Because I've had that kind of comfort level with friends before, like, which is different, but yeah, I felt like that came across really well,
Yeah.
which is why it made it uncomfortable when the adults were like, oh my gosh, they're in their underwear next to each other, and it's like, well, that's fine to be afraid, but you
Yeah.
also don't know what they're feeling, and maybe you should
Yeah.
consider that.
It's like it's uncomfortable because of what you put on it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you as a viewer and as an adult make it uncomfortable for yourself. It's like for them it's not, for you it is.
Mhm.
And I think that's almost the point that one of the points we were trying to get
Yeah.
across, which it's good. I really enjoyed it.
I
But
think I
don't have
love
much
the
else
scene
to
where
say.
Sam was running away from the rest of the troop, and it's really zoomed out, and they just start like
Yeah.
running in a big circle.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
Grand Budapest Hotel-esque, where everyone's chasing each
Yeah.
other and you're just watching them run in circles.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, when are they done?
Yeah, and it feels like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon a little bit.
It's
Like,
very silly.
yeah, it's good. I like how Wes Anderson takes like very serious and realistic themes and feelings and portrays them in this kind of like dreamlike, kind of
Yeah.
slightly
It's
goofy
very dark and silly at the
way.
same time.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's excellent. I think I might have to give Fantastic Mr. Fox a rewatch at some
Ooh,
point.
that'd be cool.
With a new kind of perspective because I remember really not liking it, but I think maybe that will have changed having seen the way he makes live action.
Hmm.
Because I think I was watching it through the perspective of my expectations of normal animated
And it's
films,
not a
and
normal
it
animated
just
film at all.
just yeah, it's like when you're used to DreamWorks and Pixar, that movie is horrible to look at and experience. So I think through the lens of like of Wes Anderson understanding, I think I'll probably enjoy it more. So
Yeah.
that's something I might
We
do
have a
at
new
some point.
Whoops, sorry. We have a new Wes Anderson claymation coming out
Yes.
soon, which looks
Yeah.
awesome. So
I have not watched trailers, and I kind of don't want to because I feel like I want to be surprised.
cool.
Yeah.
I hope you don't hate it just because you hate dogs.
Dogs are growing on me.
Oh, all right then.
Yeah, that's yeah. Anyway, next movie I watched was a movie called Tangerine, which is about two trans women living in I want to say LA. It's somewhere where it's
Tangerine.
trashy and horrible, and it's all shot on an iPhone, and it looks friggin' amazing. Something that
Really?
was shot on iPhones. Yeah, it's like an indie movie that was shot entirely on iPhones. But and it looks really good,
Kind of
right?
like
But that's
Cloverfield.
about it.
How it was like shot on a whole like camcorder the whole time.
Yeah, but isn't Cloverfield found footage? Because this is shot like a film. Like it's shot and directed as if they had proper cameras,
Yeah.
but with an iPhone.
Oh, it's not like a
it's
movie
not.
about like people recording each other on their iPhones. Like it's a movie shot with
No.
an iPhone.
Yeah,
Edited.
it's like shot properly. Yeah,
Interesting.
but there's like an orangey like haze of filters put on everything, and it looks great.
I
Like
wonder
it
what their
really
budget
does.
was.
It looks good. Low. It's an indie movie. Like
Sure.
it's very low, and it stars trans women as the characters, which I think is really nice because we don't get much representation,
Absolutely.
and that's cool. It's just a shame that it's not an enjoyable script at all, and it's not the characters aren't good, and I kind of hated it.
Oh shucks, that's a bummer.
I really wanted to like it, but I don't know. I think they were
Gosh,
just
dang it. That's like, I hate when that happens. And you're like, they're finally
I
telling
know.
a story about this thing, and you're like, oh crap,
Yeah,
it sucks.
yeah. I think it's mostly because they're very horrible people. They're very and I get it, right? Because they're in an environment where they're being very oppressed, very kind of beaten down, very controlled by various people, and they're very defensive, and there's a lot of shouting and there's a lot of aggression and tension within it, but it didn't come across as I think the script and the performances didn't quite do it justice. To the point where I don't know, I just didn't relate to anyone because they just felt like they were angry all the time, and I didn't quite
Oh.
connect with them enough to understand why they were so angry. And it's something that I think is probably the fault of the script because as also a trans woman, I should connect with that.
Right.
You know, I should get it. I mean, maybe it's because I'm transitioning somewhere where like I have a lot of support and I'm not particularly
Yeah.
oppressed or marginalized or whatever.
Although,
But
I mean,
I
I
don't
feel
know.
like given the right script, you should be able to like, if
Hmm.
not necessarily empathize, sympathize with people if they do a good job of making you understand exactly what they're going through.
Yeah.
Maybe they were trying to put across their emotions, but they didn't put across like their thoughts. Like they just had people shouting
Yeah.
and yelling. Like maybe they're very angry because of whatever
Yeah.
situation they're in, but they just didn't do a good job of explaining why they're angry. I'm like,
Yeah. It's it's kind of disappointing. And the thing I would say is like I think it's on the script and the performance because like if something like Gravity can make me connect with it in the way that I just went through and be this abstract concept that like I've never been in space, but I understood and I connected in that way. I've also never been like a street prostitute in LA or wherever that was, but the script should be able to pull me into it and connect me with it in
yeah,
the same way Gravity did. Like it
because
shouldn't be like
yeah,
it
we
feels
as
so
people should
abstract.
be able to empathize with people who are in
Yeah,
situations that we're not, because that's the only way we're going to be able to understand each other and like
yeah,
get stuff done. in this world and like help each other out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But oh well, it's fine.
They tried.
I'm not like mad. I'm just like, oh well, it is what it is. Also, there was a whole subplot about this Armenian guy, which I think the version I had didn't have, like, I had no subtitle track, and I haven't looked it up, but I'm pretty sure there was supposed to be a subtitle track.
Oh, did he have a lot of dialogue?
So I couldn't understand anything that happened in those entire scenes, and I was sitting there like, is this intentional in order to like make me feel disconnected from this character, to make me feel like, because his whole like, he has a family life in a world, but also he's sleeping with trans prostitutes, and like I was like, is it, I can't understand what they're saying when he's speaking to his family because I'm supposed to feel like an outsider in that world, or is it because I don't have a subtitle track? You know?
Yeah, like maybe
I can tell
his whole issue is that he lives in a world where no one can understand him.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if that was an artistic deliberate choice or if it was just because I didn't have the subtitles.
That's funny.
So that was a thing. The next movie I watched was The Post, which
Well, that's
annoyingly one of my movie bingo chart spaces is movie with any part of your name in the title or main set of characters, and the main character in The Post is called Catherine, and I was sitting there like, but I can't use cinema movies, and it really annoyed me because
but still, was it Catherine with a K or with a C? Because it has to be spelled correctly.
Oh boy, I actually don't know. It's fine because the movie I got in the end it's fine. The Post is good, but I don't understand. We already had this conversation. I don't understand American history well enough to like fully enjoy it.
What was it about?
There's good performances. It's about Vietnam War.
Oh, okay.
And the Washington Post leaking documents. Yeah. Leaking.
I guess I should watch it so I can learn a little bit about my own history. Because I didn't learn anything in school, that's for sure.
But I don't really have a huge amount to say about that. Tom Hanks did a great job. Meryl Streep did a great job.
Oh, they're both awesome.
Yep, they're good. Spielberg did a good directing job. He like rushed it out, like he made it really, really quickly, and it doesn't show. It's still great. And it's like, oh, Spielberg.
Oh man, he's like the Stephen King of directing, isn't he? Like,
yeah.
There's a movie.
The next movie I watched was for my bingo chart. It was the movie with any part of my name in the title main set of characters, and technically, they call this character Kat throughout the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fair. That's fine, right?
What was her name? Katerina? Or is that her?
Katerina.
Was it Taming of the Shrew?
It was 10 Things I Hate About You, which is a 90s. Have you seen this movie?
That movie is based off Taming of the Shrew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay, I was about to say I guess that is a joke. And I was right.
They say so many Shakespeare things in that movie. No, I knew it was going in.
That's awesome.
I
totally accept that for the cat, for the name.
Yeah. I figured you would because it was Shakespeare, really.
Yeah.
It's my second favorite alternate interpretation of a Shakespeare play in film.
You've probably only
my first
seen
obviously
two.
being Sherlock, not Sherlock Gnomes,
Romeo and
Juliet, the greatest film of all time. No, 10 Things I Hate About You it's a lot of fun. It's very funny. It's very goofy. It's very 90s.
It really is.
Like it's so 90s. It's painful. It's like sometimes you're just sitting there like, why is this so 90s?
Very 90s.
The thing that mostly stood out to me, and I don't have a huge amount to say about this film, but the thing that stood out to me was I was eating a cheese board while I was watching this, and there's a scene, a cheese board, like a board of cheese and crackers, right? There's a scene where someone says the line, "Oh, that must be Nigel with the brie."
Oh, must be Nigel with the brie.
And as they said that, I had my knife, like, posed over my brie wheel, and I was like, "Whoa, that's weird."
That's funny.
But that's just a little anecdote about that movie. Yeah, it's fun. It's a good movie. It's very funny.
Had that one guy that you could swear was Heath Ledger, but I think it was made like right after Heath Ledger died. No, I could totally be wrong.
Incorrect. That was Heath Ledger.
Okay, was it? Because people kept telling me it wasn't. And this was like the last time I watched it, I was like in high school, and I didn't have access to IMDb ever, like, because we didn't have smartphones yet.
Okay, that's fair, but what you need to think about is what was one of Heath Ledger's most iconic performances was in The Dark Knight, right?
Yeah.
Which do you think came first, The Dark Knight or 10 Things I Hate About You?
No, I was just talking without thinking for a minute there because I couldn't remember why I didn't think that was Heath Ledger. I was like, when did these movies come out? Or was it just like, I think someone told me that it was really his brother or that he was in a different movie at the time. And I was like,
oh, someone gaslit you on that? That's so good. That's funny.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where like you believe something at one point in your life and you never really give it another thought. So you just kind of continue to believe it.
You never update
until someone goes,
thought process.
Duh, and you're like, oh yeah, I should have figured that out, but I never even bothered to think about it again.
Yeah, that's fair. I know, it's just funny because like The Dark Knight is the most mid-2000s movie.
I knew while I was saying that, I was like, this is so not correct. I know he wasn't dead yet. I don't know why I'm saying this.
Ridiculous. Yeah, it's a good movie though. Then the final movie I watched this month is The Kings of Summer. It wasn't for the bingo chart. I just wanted to watch it. It's a coming of age movie about two kids who go and build a house in the woods and live in it. And it was directed. It's like a little indie movie. It was directed by the same guy who directed Kong Skull Island, and that's mostly why I wanted to see it because that guy is on point. It's visually great. It had a good story. It was fun. I'd recommend it if you just want a chill time.
Movies at all.
No, they really don't. It's amazing that he went from a small small coming of age indie movie that's really good to a friggin' kaiju movie about King Kong. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I would recommend it. I've just looked at the time, and it's annoying because we were supposed to be talking about Black Mirror this episode. And
okay.
I think
why'd you go on and on about movies you didn't even like very much?
I'm sorry. I just when you started
talking about Moonrise Kingdom and I couldn't stop.
True.
And then you got into a really interesting allegory about gravity, which I didn't even want to talk about. And I was like, oh, this is amazing.
What I think we should do is end this episode here so that it's under an hour. And then do a bonus episode where we talk about Black Mirror at some point in the middle of January.
That sounds fantastic. We'll have a Black Mirror episode because then you can force your girlfriend to watch season 4 with you, and we can talk about every single episode.
Oh, I was just going to record it now and release it midway through. I figured what we'd do is we could do a Black Mirror episode where we talk about seasons 1 through 3, and then do one about season 4. Because I could probably do a season 4 specific. To be honest, I could probably do an episode of Friggin' Across the Pond where we talk about each season of Black Mirror. I'm 100% okay to do that.
I'm down with that.
I'm going to be honest with you. I could do an episode of Friggin' Across the Pond about each episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, we should do one per season, and we'll have like for the first couple months we'll have each we'll have 2 little episodes.
Yeah.
I bet we get more views if we title them like Black Mirror reviews.
So yeah, stay posted on that. We will we'll work out what we're doing with that off air, but at some point soon we want to talk about Black Mirror. If you haven't seen Black Mirror, oh my god, watch Black Mirror. It's so good. It's on Netflix. It's on the Pirate Bay. It's really good. It's an anthology series where each episode is basically a movie, and they're really, 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 really good.
Yeah, it's like
I'd recommend watching it.
Twilight Zone, only brand newer and in color and much more
English,
much more different like tone to each episode.
Yeah,
because like Twilight Zone's awesome.
Yeah,
but like sometimes each episode seems like it has like the same people in it or like the same feel to it, but like Black Mirror, oh my gosh, you never know what's gonna happen, like what era it's gonna be in. Oh, it's brilliant. Okay, we should stop this episode before I start rambling about my favorite ones.
It's brilliant. It's great. We're gonna talk about it soon because we've got a podcast and we've both just watched Black Mirror. I mean, I watched it ages ago, but I've recently rewatched it, and I forced QJ to watch it because I was like, look, if we're gonna talk about stuff this year, you got to watch Black Mirror. It's one of the best television programs of all time.
Seriously.
Because it's basically just movies.
It's really awesome. But we will have to talk about it because there are probably going to be things that you and I do disagree on, and that will be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be an enjoyable piece of debate that we will probably have. So stay tuned on that. Let me know if there's any movies you want me to watch in the comments. Check out my Letterboxd account if you want to see reviews and keep up to date with my sarcasm. They're always really short, so it's not like I'm going to take up too much of your time. But if you are into movies, like Letterboxd is really good. It's a good way of
it sounds like something to
I don't know.
Really
it's a really good. It's like social media, but for movie reviews, and I really like it. I think it's fantastic. I've logged like my I joined it about 5 days ago, but because I keep all of the cinema tickets, and I've kept them for about 2 years, I went through my entire cinema tickets and I dated every movie I've seen in the last like year in the cinema. So my diary on Letterboxd goes back to like 2016, like November 2016,
Nice.
when I've been on the website for like 5 days now. it's I've tried very hard on there. But yeah, if you want to suggest me a movie, if you follow me and leave me a comment on here saying that it's you, I will probably follow you back and keep an eye out. Because if you watch a really good movie and you leave a good review on it, it'll come up my feed, and then maybe I'll watch it as well. We'll see.
Neat.
Keep in touch. Let me know. Leave some comments, please. I need comments.
Yeah, we want comments.
I got some of the best movies I saw in the first year of Across the Pond were from comment suggestions. Like, I really enjoyed that, and I want to bring it back. So, get on that, guys.
Yeah, for me too. Because I watch movies now.
Send us. Yeah, because you watch this movie now. Send us. Oh, also, if you have any suggestions for how we should fill out these bingo charts, let us know. Because
I was gonna say that.
A couple of my squares, I haven't decided specific movies. Some of them I have, like Leonardo DiCaprio. I want to watch.
Yeah, and I need help for mine too, because you know what? I have movies in mind for almost every square that I gave Kat, and she's gonna ignore everything that's in my brain because she can read minds, and yet she still ignores me. But all the squares she gave me, I don't have any ideas for that nonsense, because anything that might fit in those squares I've already seen. So
yeah.
So I need help.
About 5 of your squares could be the B movie, but you've already seen the
stupid B movie.
It's always funny to me. It never stops being funny. But yeah, let us know. Send this to your friends, I guess. That'd be cool. Let us tell other people that they should listen to our stupid ramblings.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, let us know. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
We're really bad at outros.
Happy January.
Went on for way too long.
I love you.
All right, let's bye.